Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. OG DFS, and this is the NBA FanDuel GPP slate breakdown for Wednesday, March 6, 2019. It's a 10-game slate, so we just going to jump right into it because we got a lot to talk about. At the point guard position, you got Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving coming in off back-to-backs. I normally don't like players off back-to-backs. Ben Simmons got you 5X last night, so you definitely can potentially look at him against the Bulls in definitely a weaker matchup than playing Orlando. I don't like Kemba and Trae Young and Fox. They all got tough matchups. I look for easier matchups. Rondo with their season kind of being over. I'm not really feeling that. A lot of these guys are priced up to where you're not really going to be able to exceed value. And that's what I have an issue with. However, I do drop down. I did kind of like Dennis Smith. I think he's got upside today against Phoenix. He just, last five, he put up a 51 against the Spurs, put up a 41 against the Kings. I do like Dennis Smith today in that matchup. I think he can't be stopped. Also, dropping down right below him, actually, is D. White. Man, D. White been balling lately at that price point. 36, 41 last time against Denver. And they going to go play Atlanta. I definitely like D. White tonight for the San Antonio Spurs. When you drop down, I am looking at, potentially Reggie Jackson, pace up spot. Reggie Jackson been around, 25 to 30 lately, but if you go back, he did put up a 56 ball against Atlanta. He woke up a little bit. So in the pace up spot, Minnesota coming in off the back-to-back, I could definitely see big things from Reggie Jackson trying to defend their home court. In the same game, actually. So let's say you don't like necessarily Reggie Jackson. Look at Ish Smith. Ish Smith is just like waiting to explode to have a big game. 20 to 22 minutes of action. He's put up 25 burgers in a row, one against Cleveland, the other one at home against Toronto. Minnesota peso spot. It could be a blowout script, and I just see Ish Smith getting a ton of run today at that price. I think that Ish Smith one of the better punt plays of the day on FanDuel. Obviously, you can drop your lowest score, so definitely for a GPP, you want to consider, some cheap value plays. I like Ish Smith at just 4,400. He's my OG play of the day. And we're going to go ahead and move over to the shooting guard position. At shooting guard, up top, I definitely like Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal been playing great ball lately, been getting you 5 to 6X within his past 5 games. He's been over 54 out to 5 games. He's just getting 50 burgers like it's nothing. So you definitely want to, take a good look at home against Dallas. Bradley Beal is definitely a solid play at 10-5. Luka Doncic, he's been kind of disappointing from a GPP perspective. He does always show upside. We'll have to take a look because, his minutes has to be right, in order for Doncic to perform to the optimal level. As you see, 26 and 28, the last two, and he got blew out against Brooklyn. So it's a chance, but you got to take chances to win GPP. So, Luka Doncic, he's not necessarily one of my favorite plays, but, got to keep him in mind when you on a big 10-game slate. Let me go down to one of the plays I like. Demar Derozan. Demar Derozan is just back to being himself again. Demar put up in his past 3 games, he's been over 50 twice, and then one he was almost at 50 against Detroit. Now they're going up against the Atlanta Hawks. Easy matchup. Derozan playing well. You gotta like him as one of the top plays at shooting guard position today up top. Then when you drop down, I like another player in the mid tier, and that is Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson been playing, okay ball, but look, he's played against Orlando, that tough D. And if you look prior to that, he was 25 to 30 range. And I just see Brooklyn as a soft matchup where you can get 5 to 6X easy for Jordan Clarkson. Another player to look at is Luke Kennard. A lot of players might not be on Luke, but I am. Luke, 3 of his past 5 games has been, between 30 and 35 fantasy points. Last time he had a tough game against Toronto, he only put up 26.9. But, Kennard is getting more run. Look at his minutes, 33, 31, 35. If Kennard going to keep getting run like that, it's a matter of time before the former Duke product has just a super big game. We're going to go ahead and move over. Now, let me just go, mention Alonzo Trier. Trier's been playing well lately. He's getting 32, 30 to 32 minutes. when he gets that kind of run, and then they're going against Phoenix, you definitely got to consider Alonzo Trier. Great price point at just $5,200. Moving over to the small forward position, obviously, this is where you got to pay attention to the slate and look at the pricing. LeBron is just like $4,000 to $5,000 more expensive than the next guy closest to him. And you look at LeBron's performance, it looks like LA might be out of the playoff run. They may start to shut LeBron down some. I think it kind of hinges on, Brandon Ingram coming back. If Ingram comes back and he's a full go, they may, sit LeBron down the rest of the year. Pay attention to that today when it comes to Ingram coming back. If he comes back, they may want to try to, make one more go at getting a few wins, at least to salvage some confidence through the season. And LeBron James, if you look at his numbers, they dropped down. He played 42 minutes, but only got almost 50 last time. I mean, he's just being overexerted right now. So I think Ingram being in the lineup would definitely help him. So pay attention to that as the day goes on. Obviously, LeBron may be one of the top plays on the slate, especially if he's got some help for them to close against Denver. I'm going to go ahead and drop down. Ingram's questionable, but Kelly Oubre. Last time Kelly Oubre, he just put up a 54 against the Bucks, the best team in the league. You go from the Bucks to the New York Knicks. That's a sweet matchup, for Kelly Oubre. I mean, outside of that 54, he only really hit value that at one time against New Orleans. He was hitting value, prior before that. So, it's a crapshoot with Oubre, but at that small forward position, if you don't want to go and spend up for LeBron, you could definitely take a chance on a guy like Kelly Oubre. Otto Porter coming in off the back-to-back. Then, look, they done priced up Jay Rich and Winslow to where you can't really get any extra value out of them because those, are guys that won't really get you over 40. They'll get you 35. And when you look at his price point, at 6,900, it's not really exceeding. If you got money left over and you leave this position for last, obviously fill it in with him. But I normally don't like playing Rudy Gay, but it looks like his last two games, if you look at who they played Denver and OKC, two playoff teams the last two games. That's going to bring the best out of guys like Rudy Gay, Gordon Hayward, when they're playing teams that's really in contention, high-profile games is when the stars come out. This is against Atlanta. It's risky because, I got a feeling that he's not going to put forth that same amount of minutes and that same run against, the Hawks. But if you believe that, then Rudy Gay, if you look at the numbers based on 6,500, great price point, to hit value there to fill in, if you, for the small forward position. Dropping down some of the players, if you want to save some money, which I highly recommend. One of the players I like, Will Barton. Will Barton just, had two tough games, one against the New Orleans, one against the Spurs in San Antonio. Didn't really perform up to par, but prior to that, against Utah, OKC put up almost 50 burger and 33. If you're trying to save money on that LeBron pricing, Will Barton, you want to attack the Lakers. Will Barton at 5,900, an excellent play. One more guy, Reddick coming on that back-to-back. I'm not really preferring that. He's a shooter. His legs might be a little weak. Or Jabari Parker, though. Last time against Minnesota, put up a 38, two back, or before that against Brooklyn, a 36. He's trying to gain, he got a 20 against Boston. That's a tough team to play, but he's getting more consistent. I think it's a sweet matchup for Washington playing Dallas, and I could definitely see Jabari Parker exceeding value as a great GPP option today. One more guy to look at. If you look at Jay Crowder, just put up a 34 against New Orleans, had 20 points. He did his numbers. And, if he doesn't score the points, I think he can get it in other areas and peripherals. You see the game before, he had 3 steals, 4 assists against Milwaukee. So that Jay Crowder might definitely be an option at 5,500 to run it back and get you 7x for Jay Crowder. Torian Prince appears to be coming back today. Before he was off a few days, he had a 31 against the Bulls, and at his price point at 5,000, there's potential there. I definitely try to stay away from playing against certain teams like San Antonio, but I see potential in Torian Prince. Moving down to the power forward position. At power forward, I was looking, because Julius Randle, He just put up a 56. But if you look at his price point at 9,500 against Utah twice in a row, I don't really have too much confidence he's gonna come right back and get that same number, even though it is at home for New Orleans. Lauri Markkanen, good option because Philly coming in on the back-to-back. Markkanen been putting up 59, three back against Atlanta, 47 against the Bucks. He has been playing, Indy was a tough matchup last time. And then against Atlanta, he put up almost 40 and only played 28 minutes. So Lauri Markkanen, definitely an option at 8,800. Blake Griffin, he's been kind of disappointing. They lowered his price just a tad, as you see. He's just in mid-30s max right now. Is about his cap, his ceiling. So he did get a 48 against Indy. But I'm gonna go ahead and stay away from Blake. I like Kevin Love at 8,300. Kevin Love, ton of potential. Play 28 against Orlando, put up 35. As you see, put up almost 50 against Memphis, 42 against the Knicks. Against Brooklyn, everybody loves going up against Brooklyn's. If you're a center or power forward, everybody, that's an easy matchup for you. So Kevin Love at his price point at 8,300, definitely a solid play for the night. Aldridge, a lot of potential there, but I think he gets you 5x, without question. It's just the upside from an upside perspective. Him and Kevin Love are around about the same based on their matchups. And if I want to drop down to a little bit of value, I do like Paul Millsap, man. Paul Millsap, tough matchup against the Spurs, tough matchup, against Utah. But other than that, Millsap been balling. So watch out for Millsap against the Lakers. You want to attack the Lakers. Paul Millsap, excellent option at just $7,000. Down a little bit further, Bobby Portis, tag Dallas. Just put up a 39 against Minnesota, the Timberwolves last time. I think Bobby Portis also as well. You might want to do some rotational lineups, where you got Jabari Parker in one lineup, Portis in another. But they're definitely good value plays, man. I definitely think they can both exceed value today. One more guy to go down and check out if you want to rotate Kevin Love with Larry Nance. Larry Nance still cheap on FanDuel, just $5,600. That's a great price point for his potential. Larry Nance, been going up having tough matchups here lately, and he's been getting close to the minutes he needs. Orlando's just tough going up against them, but against Brooklyn, Larry Nance, when you look at GPP, you think upside, Larry Nance, his price point, Larry Nance can get you 40, 50 fantasy points easy. So keep an eye on Larry Nance. And then let's go ahead and move to the center position. At center, I'm not feeling too much value at center. I think you might end up having to spend up. Karl-Anthony Towns, the big cat, right back. I definitely recommended him yesterday. Look at the 4 of the past 5 games, 64 or better. That man is on fire right now. So he going up against Drummond and Blake. You know what I'm saying? And they in Detroit. You keep that in mind. Cat playing well. If you feel like he'll keep the momentum going, like I said, I feel a certain way about back-to-backs, but when you got the juice, you got the juice. When you're rolling, you're rolling. So keep an eye on Cat today. When I look down to some of this value here, Andre Drummond against Cat. He put up a 60 against Indiana. His numbers haven't been where you really need him to be the last 3 games, but he played San Antonio and San Antonio. Then they played Toronto. He done had some tough matchups. So I think Minnesota will be a softer matchup for him, and I could see him at least getting 5x today. But if you want a little bit better value and save some money, check out my boy DeAndre Ayton. Ayton has been pretty much balling. I mean, for his price point, put up a 50 against the Lakers, and then you come right back and put up a 45 against Milwaukee. That lets me know you rolling well. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on Ayton today. And when you look down, at some of the other plays, obviously you got Boston on the back-to-back. I'm going to